Hello and good morning. It's Phil Thatch, and once again, I'm out here in the back porch blind. And today, I'm going to be using the Nikon D850, the old F-mount camera, full frame, 45 megapixels, and the 200 to 500 continuous f5.6 lens. This is kind of older gear, but I think it's going to be fun, and I bet I can get some decent pictures with it. Let's see. It took a little while, but I finally got my first visitor this morning, and it was a beautiful little Carolina wren. There's the beautiful little Carolina wren, probably the bird I got the most shots of today. This was 500 millimeters with the 200 to 500. I'm at 1/400th of a second, wide open at 5.6 and ISO 800. My next visitor was a song sparrow, but it only stayed a couple of seconds and I failed to get a shot of it. And then the Carolina wren came back and I've definitely got some shots of it, this time with more light on it because it's getting brighter as the sun comes up this morning. Here's the Carolina wren, another 500 millimeter shot at f5.6. I've slowed my shutter speed down to 1/640th of a second, and my ISO is 280 for this one. And here's another one. This is on my left perch. This is 500 millimeters, 1/640th of a second, f5.6, and 200 ISO. And now this is on my angled perch, 500 millimeters, 1/640th of a second, f5.6, and only 160 ISO of this beautiful Carolina wren. The song sparrow returned, and I got a shot of it for sure this time. This is the song sparrow on one of my newer perches. This is 500 millimeters, 1/640th of a second, f5.6, and ISO 450. It was kind of in dappled light, so it was tough to get the edit to look even, but I think it turned out okay. I got a few photographs of house finches, which is probably the bird I see more than anything else here in the back porch bird studio blind setup. This is on the top of the perch that has my suet feeder. In the background is my next door neighbor's pickup truck in their driveway, which I thought kind of turned out pretty in its own strange way. This is a 500 millimeter shot, 1/500th of a second. f5.6 is wide open, and this is ISO 72. I'm using automatic ISO, manual shutter speed, manual aperture, and I'm controlling my exposure with exposure compensation. I got a couple of shots of a female northern cardinal. I'm not really happy with either one of them. Here it is on the angled perch at 320 millimeters, 1/640th f5.6, and ISO 160. And here it is also on the angled perch looking down at the birdseed below. I didn't get a good head angle on either one of these. This is 500 millimeters, 1/640th f5.6, and ISO 160. This is a male house finch on the handrail. This has grass in the background, as most of the shots do. This is 500 millimeters, 1/640th, f5.6, and 320 ISO. This is a female house finch on the very top of my angled perch, but it still has grass in the background. I like that. Sometimes bigger birds on the top of this perch will have my neighbor's house in the background, and I like this background much better. This is 500 millimeters wide open at 5.6, 1/640th of a second, and ISO 160. Another female house finch at the top of my angled perch with the exact same settings, 500 millimeters, 5.6, 1/640th, and ISO 160. I just saw a really scraggly looking tufted titmouse. I think I might have got a shot of it. Maybe not. Here's a very scraggly looking tufted titmouse with a horrible background, but at least the head angle's good. This is 500 millimeters, 1/640th, f5.6, and ISO 280. And here is another shot in the same spot with a slightly different pose. Hate the background in this, but I love the way the scraggly looking bird looks. And this is 500 millimeters, 1/640th, f5.6, and my ISO crept up to 250 for this one. The Carolina wren returned. I definitely got a shot of it. Beautiful Carolina wren is back on the angled perch, 420 millimeters for this one, 1/640th of a second, f5.6, and ISO 125. Here's another shot of the same bird on the same perch. Now I've zoomed in to 500 millimeters. I was 420 for this one, but this one is 500 millimeters, 1/640th, f5.6, and ISO 125. I love the tail pointing straight up. That's a characteristic of all wrens, not just the Carolina. I've had some more visitors, lots of house finches, and then I got a little bit of a cloud, and the Carolina wren came back, and I got a nice, little bit softer light shot of the Carolina wren, maybe singing. And then, just ever so briefly, possibly my favorite bird here in the backyard, back porch studio, the male red-bellied woodpecker showed up, but the loud D850 shutter spooked it pretty quickly. Here's another beautiful female house finch. This is on my left perch with Leland cypress in the background instead of grass. This is 500 millimeters, 1/640th f5.6 and ISO 280. Now this is my vertical perch. I don't get a lot of shots of birds here, but I'm always happy when I do. This has grass as the background. 500 millimeters, 1/640th f5.6 and ISO 500. I think I got 3 shots of the beautiful Carolina wren with the exact same settings singing on the same perch. And I liked all 3 of these, so I just went ahead and shared them all with you. This is my favorite bird that I see on the back porch, or at least it's my favorite bird that I see regularly on the back porch. This is the male red-bellied woodpecker, 390 millimeters, 1/640th of a second, f5.6 and ISO 720. Unfortunately, when I made this shot, the loud shutter in the D850 spooked the bird, so I don't have any more red-bellied woodpecker shots today. Here's the Carolina wren back on top of the angled perch. I got a cloud for this one, so the colors are a little softer. This is 380 millimeters, 1/640th f5.6 and ISO 450. I've been out here about 2 hours now, and I just saw a mourning dove. Now this is a mourning dove, 330 millimeters on the angled perch, but not at the top of it, where the Carolina wren was in the last photo. This is 1/640th of a second, f5.6, and ISO 220. Back, and I got a pretty good shot of what I believe is a young brown-headed cowbird. This is an immature brown cowbird that has found the seeds in the top of the stump perch. This is 480 millimeters, 1/640th of a second, wide open at 5.6, and ISO 280. The chair I sit in and my tripod and my camera inside the blind. And now we'll go outside the blind where you can see my camera poking through. Here's all my perches. This is the far left vertical perch. Don't get a lot of stuff on there, but I did get a good shot on there today of a house finch, spoiler alert. Here's my left perch, the angled perch going to the left. I really like that a lot. Here's a vertical perch that I don't get a lot of shots on it, but when I do, I really like them. This is the perch that sees the most action. I call it my angled perch. I put seed out in front of it, and it was completely covered with seed 2 hours ago when I came out here, but it's all gone. Here's my stump perch, which is hollowed out in the top. I had it full of seed. A lot of it's gone, but not all of it. Right here's the suet feeder, which is also on an angled perch. Sometimes, not today I don't think, I get pictures of birds here on this angled perch with the suet feeder not in the shot. And here's my newest perch, which doesn't see much action. Here's who eats a lot of the bird seed. This is the chipmunk. I have a few chipmunks that run around the neighborhood. You can see his jaws are full of bird seed. This is 350 millimeters, 1/640th of a second, wide open at 5.6 and ISO 320. This is one of my favorite shots of the day. This is my far left vertical perch. It rarely gets used, but this is a female house finch on the top of it. Got Leland cypress in the background, and I really love the pose, and I like pretty much everything about this shot. This is 380 millimeters, 1/640th of a second, f5.6, and ISO 500. I think this may be the first time I've used my Nikon D850 out here in the blind. I have used it for bird photography. I mainly purchased it. I bought it used. I mainly purchased it for landscape photography, but I thought I'd try it out for some bird photography from the blind this morning, and I think it did well. The shutter's a little noisy, which sometimes spooks the bird, and I miss eye detect for birds, but with single point, I'm able to make it work. And I hope you enjoyed this content. If you did, reach down, hit the thumbs up button. That helps me out a lot. And as always, I hope to see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.